about contacting the lawyer. That still holds true, okay, just so you're aware.
Okay.
If at any time we're talking you want to contact the lawyer, you can do so at any time. I'll take you to a phone. There's something else I want to tell you, Mark, and that's that there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you're involved in the disappearance of John Altinger. No doubt in my mind at all, Mark.
Why?
As I said, Mark, there's no doubt in my mind that you're involved in this disappearance. I just want to get to the bottom of this, because this is not going to go away. It's not going to leave you, Mark.
I don't understand.
I'm going to explain some of the reasons to you. But you do understand, because you know what I'm talking about. You're involved in this, and unfortunately, something got carried away. Something got carried away with this guy. I mean, talking to you here tonight, you seem like a decent guy. And I think that something happened that night that maybe you just didn't have total control of. And I'm here to get to the bottom of it. Because it's not going to go away. This is going to stay with you. And we need to clear this up here and now. We need to clear this up tonight. You need to tell me the truth about what's going on. What happened with this fella. I mean, this happened because of the movie thing? Something that went too far?
I have no idea what the hell is going on.
You do have an idea. You have a very good idea, Mark, about what's going on. You know exactly what happened there that night. I mean, you haven't told us the truth. You haven't told us anything close to the truth. You do understand we've talked to Joss. We've got his side of the story. All I'm looking for is your side of the story. But the truth. Not what you've been telling me. Because that what you've been telling me hasn't been the truth. Has it, Mark?
This can't be. I don't...
What do you mean it can't be?
I just don't understand.
Well, what don't you understand? We have a fellow who's missing. We know he's been to your garage. We've talked to all the neighbors now. You know, the neighbors saw you changing the lock about a week and a half ago. Neighbors watch. They see all these things. Little things that you don't realize. Okay? We know the lock was changed long before the 15th. Yet when you get there on the 15th, you tell me, oh, that's your lock on there on the 15th. It's not till you go back with the policeman last night that you notice, or you say. So that's a lie. That's a lie you told me. When you gave your version of events to Detective Tabler last night, your version of events was different than what you told me today. What you wrote down was different than what you told me in this room. What you told me in this room when I first came in was different from your final version of events. You've changed your whole story. All kinds of different lies. Now, I know this isn't an easy thing to live with. Something went wrong there. Like I said, I don't think you're a bad guy. You seem like a decent guy. You got a wife, you got a small child, you're trying to do the best. I don't think, I don't know, but I don't think you're doing that well financially. I think it's a tough life what you're in. You're trying to do your best, but something went wrong. Maybe you were just trying to make a better movie. I don't know. But something went wrong and you're involved. And this is not going to go away, Mark. And you know that. You're not a dumb guy. You know it's not going to go away. This is going to keep on eating at you and eating at you.
I just feel like I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone right now.
And why do you feel you're in the Twilight Zone? We need to get to the truth about what happened with John Altinger. And I know you know that truth. You are definitely not a dumb man. You know very well that you don't buy a car that's worth over $10,000 from someone for $40. You know that. You know that you get a bill of sale. You deal with items on eBay. You sell items all the time. Just like going to a store and buying it. That part of your story is just lie after lie after lie. And it's time to end those lies, Mark. I mean, your version about the gas, your first version to Mike Tabler, you're leaving. You're leaving the garage, going to get gas. Then he approaches you. Now in your version today, no, you got gas before. Your reason for having gas doesn't even make sense. You're buying gas for a lawnmower you don't own? You're buying gas just to keep in your car? No, you're buying gas to get rid of things. You shake your head, but you know what I'm saying is true. Specifically, do you remember talking to the constable last night? Specifically, you talked to the constable last night. He specifically asked you 3 or 4 times, do you remember seeing a red car any time around your garage, anything? No, officer, I don't remember anything about a red car. Yet now, and you never mention that to Detective Tabler. Not once do you mention a red car or buying a car off an individual you didn't know for $40 while he's asking about the disappearance of a guy who's seen it at your garage. And it's obvious why you didn't mention it, because you had something to do with his disappearance. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, you have a barrel in your garage. A barrel you say you buy for garbage. Everyone knows in the movie industry those are known as burn barrels. We got that off your own friends. They're the ones telling us this. Your co-workers. What happened to John, Mark? What'd you do with him?
Wrong tree.
Wrong dream?
No, tree.
Wrong tree. And what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Mark?
I'm done.
What do you mean you're done?
I mean, I'm not talking anymore. This is ridiculous.
Well, what is your explanation? You haven't answered any of the questions. If you didn't do anything wrong, why wouldn't you answer those questions? Do you know why, Mark? Both of you and I know the answer. Because you're involved. You have the license plates to his vehicle in your car. You have the keys to his vehicle in your car. And this guy's missing and you have his car. Like, you need to accept the fact here, Mark, that your life has now changed. Because like I said before, this is never ever going to go away. I mean, I have to wonder what's going on in your life that gets you involved in something like this. You must either be having tough times at home or tough times financially or something. So what's going to happen when these neighbors pick your picture out as the guy changing the locks in that garage? After you told me you didn't know anything about those locks. What's going to happen then, Mark? What's going to happen with your wife and child now? What are they going to do? What happened to John, Mark? Was this your plan or was this somebody else's? Somebody else put you up to this? Do you not have any answers, Mark? Why not? I'm telling you that you're involved in this disappearance and you sit there and say nothing. Shocks me. You do understand these things don't go away. Like, this is going to stay with you the rest of your life. Do you understand that? Like, I look at you, I see you sitting here, I've talked to you for several hours now, and I just can't figure out the why. What drove you to this? Is there something going on? Obviously, there's something going on behind the scenes that I don't know about. Because you seem like a decent guy that I'd go have a beer with. That's the type of guy you come across as. Yeah, you're involved over your head in this.
Is anything that you're saying genuine, or is this some sort of tactic?
You got to get away from the acting part, Mark, and listen to what I'm saying. You have told me nothing but lies. An innocent man does not come in here and tell lies. That's genuine, Mark. Everything I'm telling you in here is genuine. So get out of your film producer mode and the facade of thinking that everyone's an actor. Because this is real life. All right? Real life. If you were telling me the truth, you would have one story. One story that would flow from beginning to end. And you could repeat that 100 times with no changes in the story. Yours is so bad. How do you explain the neighbors? The neighbors see that car there before the 15th of October. Why would that car be in your garage before the 15th of October? You conveniently can't remember where you were on the 14th of October.
Nothing convenient about it. It's just actual fact. Despite anything that's been going on, I really cannot.
You cannot what?
Remember.
Remember what?
About the 14th.
So you can't remember about the 14th. Why did you lie about the 15th? What is your explanation for providing me basically different versions of what happened on the 15th?
Am I being charged?
Not yet.
Am I free to go?
Yep.
Then I will.
Okay. We're seizing your car, so you won't be getting it back. We'll be getting a search warrant to go through the car, forensic examination. Okay? As soon as we're done interviewing everybody else, you will, we'll be coming back to charge you. It's just a matter of time. All right? Do you have any questions about any of that? Do you want to clear anything up now so I don't have to keep coming after you? Any questions about anything, Mark? You know pretty well everything's over for you now. You can't worry about what your wife and your family's going to think, because this isn't going away. You have to get past that. Are you that cold a person, Mark, that you can live with this the rest of your life? Doesn't bother you at all?
What does that mean?
Well, you're involved in this disappearance of this guy.
But we'll live with it. What do you mean?
Well, what you did to him. You can live with that? That's what I mean. You can live with that, what's happened to him? I mean, only you know what's happened to him. I'll find that out eventually. It's going to take me a little time. I just got involved in this case today. But it's so obvious you're involved, Mark. It's like you're not a very good actor. And you're in the business.
I never said I was an actor.
Producer. You've seen actors. You're not good at it at all. You're a very, very poor liar. But I mean, how do you go home at night? Living with yourself over what you've done to this guy. How do you explain that to your wife? Your child's only 8 months, so you don't have to explain it to her. She won't even know what's going on. Like, it's going to eat at you. If you're a normal person, it's going to eat at you. If you're that cold and callous, which I don't think you are. You don't strike me as that type of person. If something went wrong in that garage that day, then you need to tell me that. If something went wrong that was out of your control, this is your chance to tell it. You know, this is your chance to say, hey, detective, yeah, something went wrong. Things got out of control. Something happened there that I didn't want to happen. This is your chance. You know, I don't know much about this John guy. I'm slowly finding out things. If something went wrong and he came over to that garage when you were there, this is your chance to tell me. I mean, if you guys got into an argument over something, I don't know what, things got carried away, so be it. We can deal with that. But you have to let me know that. You know, I don't know if he came over there with somebody else, or was getting stupid, or was trying to pull stuff on you. I don't know. I know this guy's a bit of a weirdo. I know he's into different things that the average person isn't into. You know, and maybe he tried something. I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened. What I do know is that you're involved. And you know that. It's obvious. It's obvious by your whole demeanor. And like I said, it's not going away. It's just starting to build.
I understand what you're saying.
Well, you understand it, but you don't have an explanation for it. Why is it, Mark, you don't have an explanation?
Fear.
Pardon me? I didn't hear you. I mean, I know it's tough. You know, I don't know much about your life, but you know, was this something that you tried to avoid and you just couldn't?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. Did he try something in there? Did he try something you're just defending yourself? I don't know. You were the one that was there.
It's a really weird comment that you made.
Pardon me?
It's a very weird comment you made.
Which comment is that?
About it.
Which comment was that, Mark? I'm not trying to be the bad guy here, Mark.
Can't help but feel like that's a tactic. I just feel like everything is a tactic right now.
Why do you think that? When you know what I've told you in this room is the truth, so how do you say that's a tactic?
Just, I know we're not singing a movie, but it's a top thing.
This is real life stuff. You gotta get away from the movies.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem here. All I'm here for is get the truth. That's my job. There's two sides to every story. I know why John went to the garage. I know a little bit about his background and what he's into. Not very pretty.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm not going to go into all that because that's not the stuff that you need to know. But let's just say he's got some skeletons in his closet. And I know that he could have done something there to provoke things, to cause trouble. And if he did, and something happened because of his provoking or provocation there, then what I'm telling you is this is your chance to get it out. Something happened there between the two of you. Then you need to let me know now. Was it just the two of you in the garage, or did he come with someone else? Mark?
That's okay. I need some time. I need to be able to sleep.
This isn't going to go away while you sleep, Mark.
I know.
That's the problem. Something happened there. Both you and I know it. And time is going to make it go away. It's time for you to step up to the plate. Tell me what happened to John. Tell me where he is. So we can do the decent thing, and not only for him, but for his family. And for your own well-being. You're not going to be able to live with yourself with this for the rest of your life.
You'd be surprised what I can live with.
It's going to eat at you and eat at you. It's going to affect your family because it's affecting you. What's going to happen with your daughter? I know that's weighing on your mind. I know it's weighing on your mind about your wife. How would you describe your marriage? Is it good?
Everything was going fantastic.
Everything was
I
until
checked to
what?
see if she left me a message. She was worried yesterday and couldn't sleep at all. And even tonight, she had to take a unison to try to get to sleep. And then when I didn't come home, she started calling again.
Well, she's worried about you. But this isn't going to end. You know, I had a family, a relative of mine was murdered back in 1997, White Horse, Yukon. My wife's sister was murdered by her husband. Family thing. Not like this.
Are you serious?
Serious. It was actually made national news. It was a big thing about the defense of provocation. The guy's name was Ralph Klassen. That was my brother-in-law at the time. And he strangled her. He strangled his wife, which is my wife's sister, in bed. They were separated. Come home and thought she was fooling around, and he was out to lunch. There was no fooling around going on. None at all. And he strangled her with his hands. So hard that he actually sprained his 2 thumbs. And what happened was he leaves a note in the house saying that he couldn't live with himself and he was going to end his own life. So I don't know if you've ever been to Whitehorse, but he drove up. I wasn't up there myself. My wife went up for the trial with her sisters, but he drives up on a hill in his little Datsun B210 truck. And his plan was, they found out this later from talking to him, that's how we know. But his plan was to drive head on into one of the iron ore trucks that work at the mines up there. So he waited and waited, he said. This is what he told the Mounties later. And no iron ore truck came along. So a propane tanker was coming down the highway. So he drives down the hill, he smashes head on a propane tanker, and just before he hits it, he ducks. And if you can believe it, he ends up with a broken toe. That was his whole injuries from this accident. The truck driver ends up breaking his back so bad that he can't work anymore. He's not crippled, but he can't work anymore. Never ends up working again, I guess. And they take my brother-in-law to hospital. And at the hospital, he tells the nurse that he did something to his wife. So they send the Mounties over there, and they find her in bed. And then they come back, and they end up, of course, charged him with second-degree murder. He got convicted of manslaughter, and his defense was provocation, that he was provoked into it. That's kind of my point here, is that he's saying he's provoked. That's his wife. There was no provocation at all. It was a joke defense in my mind. My wife sat through 2 weeks of the trial with her sisters up there and couldn't believe it. Absolutely devastated the family. And he got a whole 5 years in jail. That's what he got. He served, I think, 2.5 total. I never did find out what happened to him. Out at Williams Head Penitentiary in BC, which is on Vancouver Island. Frickin' golf course on there. They've got a par 3 golf course, and they live in like condos. System's a joke.
Wait, who lives in condos?
The prisoners at Williams Head Penitentiary. They live in like condo complexes, not even cells.
So,
but the point is that he raised the defense of provocation. And if that's what's happened in this case, and that's what I'm telling you, you need to tell me. If you were provoked some way, or there was some sort of incident that arose, then now's the time. The only thing I give my brother-in-law credit for was he did step up to the plate. And he did tell him what happened. I mean, something obviously went on between the two of you, Mark. Something went on between you and John. And I don't think it happened on the 15th. It happened before that. It's not going to be easy living with this, Mark. Not going to be easy for anybody. It wasn't easy for us. Family was devastated. It's going to happen. Those are the facts. Those are the things you can't change. You can't change now that this has happened. But we also can't go back. We can't go back and take that day back that all this happened. But we can do the right thing. And the right thing is telling me the truth about what happened that night. What happened between the two of you. Something went wrong. What went wrong that day, Mark? This guy come over there uninvited? What happened? Tell me something, Mark. Do you really think this is going to go away? You don't, and you don't think that because you're not a stupid guy. So what can we do to get to the bottom of this, Mark? Was this an accident? How did it happen, Mark? I kind of think this was happening spur of the moment. Because you didn't really do a lot of thinking about afterwards. She tells me it happened by spur of the moment or by accident, something like that. Tells me you didn't want to do it on purpose. If that's the case, Mark, this is the time to tell me.
As opposed to what other time?
Well, there's not going to be another time. I'm just telling you that I keep telling you, and you know it, you've agreed with me that it's not going to go away.
Oh.
And you know it's not going to go away, Mark.
What time did you wake up today?
Early.
Well, I mean, not today, I guess yesterday.
Early.
Is the adrenaline keeping you going?
No. I'm tired too.
I feel like that's all that I'm on right now.
So let's get to the truth. And then we can end this. The problem is you don't want to tell me the truth. Why don't you want to tell me the truth? Can you answer that question, Mark? Why can't you give me your version of events that night?
I'm scared. And I always have this instinct to want to be able to try to hold on to I don't even know.
I can imagine you're scared. It's a perfectly natural feeling at this time. But things happen there, Mark, between you and John. And I don't think he can speak for himself anymore. You're the only one that can tell us what happened that night. What's going through your mind right now, Mark?
Almost nothing. Anything I try to push out is like what's it like? It's like skating uphill. This tired trying to formulate thought anymore.
I don't think you need to formulate thought. What I think you need to formulate is the truth. There's two sides to every story.
Yeah, but stories come with questions and more answers and more stories.
Well, stories come with facts and truth. There won't be many questions. People make mistakes. Happens every day. Some mistakes are bigger than others, but life goes on, and we deal with those mistakes.
Well, I guess my marriage is over, so I don't really have to worry about protecting her anymore.
Your daughter will be taken care of.
Yeah.
Your wife's here, your mother, father. Parents in Edmonton, are they not?
Mm-hmm.
She'll be looked after. I can see this is eating you up. Something went wrong there, Mark. Tell me what went wrong. You know deep down, Mark, that everything I've told you in this room has been a fact, has been the truth. I haven't tried to baffle you with bullshit on anything.
Again, you know what? I mean, you say that, but part of me is always going to wonder.
That's because you watch too much TV. We all do, I guess.
No, I think I understand the difference.
Bottom line, though, is I'm just here to get the truth. And the truth isn't always pleasant. I know that. I mean, this wasn't somebody you knew. You weren't close to this fella. You didn't know what he was like. Not a family member. I just don't know what set it off. Because your demeanor appears to be so calm. So rational. Like what set it off that night to set these things in motion? What happened between you and John, Mark?
I can't even get there right now. Right now I'm thinking about immediate needs, like
What are those immediate needs?
contact lenses are going to burn a hole in my head in a couple of hours. I mean, I want to get to the finish line, but at the same time,
I think we should get to the finish line.
Consulting with a lawyer is going to be really important.
You can do that at any time you want. Told you that right from the start. You know exactly why you're here. Because John's gone missing. The reason you're sitting there is you're the guy that made him go missing. I'm just trying to find out the why behind it. Why this happened, what turned it to make you do something like this. There's obviously got to be other factors involved. How long have you been married, Mark?
Almost 2 years. This time.
How long were you married the first time?
4. Looks like I'll become the statistic. Didn't expect that.
Well, I think you already were a statistic when you were divorced the first time. Right?
Well, some things you just gotta do because you realize that your ultimate decision leads to what's gonna end up in your long-term happiness, and you can't just feel obligated to how other people are gonna think about it.
Don't you think that applies here too? Long-term happiness? I think it applies. Yeah, it seems like the end of the world now.
We're not that important.
I think we are.
That's gonna get really deep and philosophical, so I won't even go there.
Yeah, I'm not a big philosophical guy either. I work more on facts and truth. And I know I'm not dealing with a dumb individual here. But something went wrong there. And you can fill that in. It's not easy, Mark, I know. How does your life go on if we don't clear this up? How do you ever begin to rebuild it again?
I think something like that's even possible.
Oh, of course I do. It happens all the time. I see it all the time. I used to work at Edmonton Max. I was the liaison guy out there. So I do all the investigations out at Edmonton Institution. Dealt with all the hardcore convicts, guys that were in there for way worse than this. Like, I'm talking guys that have done mass murders, multiple killings, killing family members, planned executions. They accepted their punishment. They're doing their time. But those guys, they're a different breed. They're not you. Those guys, very, very few. I can't even think of one at the Max, maybe at other institutions. They're the hardcore of the hardcore. They're the ones that have no remorse. They don't care. It's like they're missing something. I don't know if they were born with something missing or what, but they don't have that remorse. I call it like a remorse syndrome. They don't have it. They don't have a conscience. They don't care about anybody. To them, killing somebody means nothing. I mean, those are the worst of the worst. Those are the ones you deal with out there all the time. That's not you. You're not that type of person. Talked to you long enough in here the last several hours to know that. Those guys show no emotion over anything. They're cold. That's not you. Everything's running through your head right now. And rightly so. It's not an easy thing. I know you'd love to go back and take back that day, but you can't. You know, we can't do that. What's done is done. But you can move on from here. And yeah, it's not easy. Of course not. It's not going to be easy. But it's also not the end. It's not the end of your life. It's not the end of your family's life. I'm sure you're still going to want to see your daughter one day. You made a mistake. In order to get past that, I need you to explain to me what happened. What happened to make you make that mistake? What started this all off? Your car break-in had nothing to do with this. I don't believe your car was even broken into. You realized you made a mistake. Things got carried away. Something happened to John. And you panicked. You didn't know what to do and you made up a story. I mean, the irony of this is you could probably make a movie out of this one day. There's an irony. That's probably never been done. Something like this happens, you write a script and make a movie. Probably never been done. But things are going to change for you now, and you know that. I think this has been eating at you since it happened. It's probably been wreaking havoc on your home life, too.
Do you have any idea what it's like living with constant apprehension?
I can't say that I do.
I do not feel that anymore.
Well, this is your chance to get rid of that feeling.
Oh, but it brings on a whole new type.
I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
Well, okay, what's the steps in getting a lawyer? Because I don't have one.
I just take you out of this room to a phone and you can call me.
Is it like delayed? I mean, well,
There's phone numbers there. There's a phone book. Take you to a phone you can call. There's phone books there. There's a legal aid number on the wall. They'll provide any legal advice you want. Take you out any time. If you want to call any specific lawyer you know, there's white and yellow pages there. That apprehension you're feeling, how long have you been feeling that?
any longer than 2 minutes is too long. Okay, let's see.
Has it been going on since this happened? Was it going on before? Would you feel more comfortable writing down what happened?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I know.
And you can write out what happened that night if you want. Don't you think it's right, the moral thing to do to get this guy back to his family? Give them some closure. His friends who called us. If there are other stressors going on in your life at the time, this is what you need to tell me now. Other things are going on, Mark.
Wouldn't that really be irrelevant, though?
Well, really? I think it would be very irrelevant. Don't you think? Whether it be financial, at home, marriage, health. I don't know. A lot of things go on behind closed doors. Every one of us has 3 lives. We have our work life, where we behave one way at work. We have our home life, where we behave a certain way at home. And we have our secret life. And I guarantee every single person on this planet has a secret life. Things they do that maybe they don't want other people to know that could be good or bad. They don't always have to be good. They don't always have to be bad. Something went on there in one of your lives. I think something was going on in all 3 of your lives that led to this. You mentioned earlier your marriage is over. Why do you say that?
It's complicated. I was actually thinking about telling you, but it's just so freaking complicated. It would take you hours just to go through that.
I wouldn't mind listening. What's been going on in your marriage to make you say that?
I need to find out. Which I think she already called some legal place. Figure out what that is first, and if that's the case, I'll just call them instead of going through a phone book.
You calling your wife?
Mm-hmm.
You want me to leave you while you talk to her?
Sure.
Okay. I'll come back in a few minutes.
Oh, she's not there. Maybe sleeping. Okay.
What do you think's going to happen to you?
At this point, I don't know.
Do you know the difference between the 3 types of murder? First degree, second degree manslaughter?
Is it intent?
Yeah, basically, first degree is like planning it. Second degree is basically not planning it. Manslaughter is spur of the moment, not like a bar fight or something. Someone punches someone and they get angry. Something like that. Which category would you fall into?
What's the category for suicidal?
Why are you suicidal?
Because what's the point? I mean, if everything that I've been working for is just suddenly going to end.
But you know that's going to happen. There's no way to sugarcoat that or to sweeten that up.
Then,
but is that any reason to take your whole life? Is that any reason to leave your daughter without a father? Regardless of whether you're right beside her or living in the same house, you're still her father. And of course it isn't the best of circumstances, but you're not going to be away from her forever. There will come a time when you'll be back to see her. But you wouldn't be back to see her if you took your own life. Then you'd never be in her life. She'd never know the real you. And the real you is not this person that did this to John. You know that. This is something that happened because you weren't thinking straight. And I believe that one day you'll
he must have grabbed me, and we started struggling. Oh, and I'm guessing during this, that's when I'm like, okay, I got to try to fight. And that's something I missed, actually. I tried punching him too, but I was so weak. And I remember trying to punch him, and I know I can't hit this mask because that's going to hurt my hands, so I'm trying to punch him in his chest. And I'm thinking, man, why am I so weak? And my punches aren't, I feel like I'm not doing anything, and it's like my punches are so weak. And then, so I realized, okay, I'm punching him, I'm not going to do anything. He's way bigger than me, and can't do anything. So then I started trying to kick him in the but I tried a few times doing that.
Did you get him?
No.
Did you hit him?
No, couldn't.
And did he hit you?
No.
What about kick you?
He tried, but I swerved as well. So
Like, is this an all-out intense battle, or is it like...
No, that's the thing, is like, this is the whole thing, this is what I'm thinking. While I'm doing this, this guy, he had, if he was more professional, he could have killed me right away. Like, right when I walked in, I didn't see him, he could have hit me over the head with a bat, a baton, or anything.
Yeah.
He could have knocked me unconscious right away. And I don't know why he did that. His whole plan was to use this taser thing on me first, and that was stupid on his part. But he had many chances to kill me, he never did. So he had that's why I thought afterward all this happened, he had a bigger plan for me. I thought maybe he was going to handcuff me and take me somewhere and do something.
So you're now trying to punch him, you feel weak, you're trying to kick him, you're not connecting.
Yeah, that's when he goes, well, since you're not cooperating, this is the way it has to be now. And then he starts punching me in my left side of my face. And for some reason, again, it would have been more effective for him to punch me in the nose, the eyes, you know, something. Because if he had punched me in the nose, I'd have been down, right? But he was punching the side of the head, trying to get my temple or knock me unconscious for some reason. I'm not sure, but...
Tell me about the struggle. Tell me about the struggle with the gun.
See, now this is weird because I'm facing this way. He pulls the gun out again, and for some, I think because I grabbed the gun, somehow we maneuvered. We were struggling again, and I'm trying to break the gun, right? So we're struggling, and somehow I ended up this way again, struggling with this gun. And he's here back at the door. Okay, so because I just remember the door being there, and then I'm just trying to break this gun because this is, I know it's plastic, and I know if I...
What's he doing?
He's yelling at me because he doesn't want me touching his gun. And so then I wouldn't let go, obviously, and I had a hold of his arm, his other arm, just in case he tried to punch me in the left, but he never did. And so we're just struggling. I'm just, you could tell, it's just weird that, because if it was a real gun, he would have fired it or whatnot. He never did. He had nothing, and he didn't. He never. Just wasn't professional. It was just like it was maybe his first time. That's how I thought of it.